Welcome everyone to this new video. My name is Louis Vidoy. I really hope you are watching this. Now, to give you an introduction to this, I have just watched the trailer of the Suicide Squad, the second trailer to the movie. I pretty much like it, of course. As you may know, my favorite character is Harley Quinn from the things I have seen in the trailer, so I had no choice but to draw her, and I really hope you like this drawing. So let's start. The materials you're going to use for this are just a pen, a black marker, some colored pencils, any kind of pencils, normal pencils of course, 2HB pencils, any kind of them. And well, I think that's pretty much what we're gonna do for this. Now let's start with step number one. For step number one, I started doing the contour of the face, all the forms, and then I move on to start drawing the eyebrows. And the eyebrows, of course, I start doing them by pencil. Then after the eyebrows, I start doing the eyes. And from the start, the eyes weren't that good, but as the time went, I started fixing them. I started giving them a little bit shape. They're just two like ovals. That's what you have to do for step one. Now for step two, I started defining the shape of her face. Now for this Harley Quinn, the thing I wanted to do was her like laughing, so I had to do, it was kind of hard doing this face, but at the end of the day I kind of did it. And for step three, obviously I came down by sketching the nose, but I had some trouble with the nose. It's a little curvy and it's a little shaped to the left side of the drawing, so I had trouble with it, but at the end I was able to came up with a way to draw it. Still, I'm doing it with pencil. After that, we move on to step four, which is sketching the mouth. Remember, it's an open mouth. The way I do it is I start sketching just the lips, then after the lips I do the teeth. Now to not have trouble with the teeth, I only draw in like a rectangle all over her right lip. All over her up lip I draw a rectangle, then the thumb is just going to go down. After this, I try to finish sketching. For step number five, I finish sketching the face, and I start by drawing the first lines of the hair. Now for the first line, you don't really have to do it that good, but they still have to look a little bit better, so in case you need them for the next part of the drawing. Now for step number six, I started out sketching obviously the neck, and then I started sketching the rest of her face, the rest of her head, to make the hair. Now the hair, this way how it's going to work, the left side of her hair, it's not that much. You only have to draw a little bit from the left side, but from the right side you really must take care of it, because it's a long, like a large bubble of hair, and that's what's gonna give like volume to her face, so be really careful with this. Obviously I had some trouble, that's why I had to erase a full process of the drawing. I took a really long time sketching out the hair because it was one of the hardest parts. And then the ponytail, of course, ponytail. I think the ponytail was easy. You're gonna get the hang of it. Now for step number seven, obviously I need to finish sketching the final details of the first sketch of the drawing, and for when I start painting it, I would know where everything is going to go, and I would not have to start erasing many things once I start painting the drawing. Now here I'm just doing her color, her Quinn color, and that was pretty easy. It's your decision whether to do it or not. I said, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And up there, her neckline, of course, try and finish to that. And from here on I start by painting. Now as you can see, the first tool I'm going to use to paint for step number 8 is painting her eyes. Now for this I used a blue colored pencil. Now I really like colored pencils, as you may know from now. They really much help when I'm starting to draw. And here's the black pen I was telling you about. For the black pen I do all those shapes. I started by sketching out the shapes, like some kind of ink in it. When I'm doing comics I ink the things with some pens, but this is just to de-line the shapes and to add in some final details. And now from here, as you can see, I really use the pen and that blue colored pencil. The colored pencil is what's going to give me the volume to her eye. That's for step number 9. Step number 9 is finishing drawing and painting the eyes. As you can see, her right eye is completely blue, her makeup is blue, and of course the left side, her makeup is going to be a little bit like pink, red, some kind even purple. So I had to really use the game of colors there to gain in the perfect color of her left eye, but I'm sure you can hang on with it. Just remember, this step number 9, finishing coloring up her eyes, and then I move on to the eyebrows. Now at first I do the eyebrows with pen, then I add in some details with pencil, and then with some purple color pencil, because I seen them, they're like this kind of gray haired it with a little bit of purple, so yeah, I had to add in some of that. Remember, it has to look original. Now for drawing in her, now for painting her face, I needed to try out some colors, some skin color pencils, to find out what's her right color. So at the end of the day, I decided to use light gray colored pencil to start sketching out her face. Obviously, the details, I started doing it with some light red colored pencil. Those are going to be the shaded ends, and then some gray colored pencil just to add in some more shades. And of course, the rest of her skin and her face is going to be done by light gray colored pencil. This is step number 10. You just have to finish painting the rest of her face. Remember, something I always do in drawings, and I hope you do too, is that I always paint the mouth at last. The last thing I always try to paint is the mouth, because I really think the mouth is, for me, it has been the hardest thing to draw. And even in this drawing is the thing I took the most time, the thing I had to erase the most part of it. But yeah, I always do the mouth at last, just to get a nice look at what I'm doing before doing the mouth. Because if I do the mouth before I start doing what I can do, what I'm sure I will do as easily as anything, then I might get mistakes in the mouth. So I try to do the hardest things always at the last part of the main sketches. So if I want to paint the mouth, I will always do it at the last step of painting her face. Now after you have finished painting her face, remember to leave some highlights with your eraser. Now I move on to the mouth. Now for the mouth, I use some red colored pencil just for the shape of the mouth, and then I started painting it with some purple and some black. That's right, I used a little bit of black to add in the shadings. Most of the color was red, and then I gave in some contrast with, of course, the purple color. Now for this, I used a little bit of marker. The marker just to give me some tones. Now the thong was the hardest thing. It was a pretty hard game of colors to get the thong right. At the end, I decided to do it with some red color pencil, some brown colored pencil, and of course, and then I even used pastel, some blue pastel, in to finish up all those details. As you can see here, that's step number 11. And for step number 12 is just going to be finishing up the teeth. Now the teeth, of course, I really have trouble with them, but at the end of the day, I think I got them right. So yeah, those are the teeth. That's step number 12. And step number 13, what's going to be next, is that you'll start defining the rest of her hair, start defining the shapes, the left side, the right side, for you to start coloring it. As you can see here, I'm adding some details, and I'm starting painting the right side of her hair. Now the right side of her hair, what did I use? I used light gray to painting her hair because it is pretty light, and at the end of the day I found out it was pretty easy to actually painting her hair because it wasn't that hard. I just had to draw in some lines with the light gray colored pencil and some detailings with the purple colored pencil. So yeah, for me it was pretty easy to start painting the hair. Now the thing that really helps out when it comes to Harley Quinn is to really paint in those like ponytails, and to paint them in the right colors, to blend them in correctly. That is what's going to give you the Harley Quinn character. So that's something I had trouble with it. As you can see, now I move on to step number 14, which would be finishing up sketching her ear and the hair that's going down to her neck. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Finishing up the neck, it's just as finishing up the face. It's just with some light gray colored pencil, and then I move on. Now for the first ponytail, which is a pink ponytail, I didn't have the pink color yet, so I tried to be creative with it until I had the pink color. As you can see, I started by sketching it up with some purple colored pastel. Then I move on to the pink colored pencil to finish up the details. Now as you can see now here, what I'm trying to do is trying to figure out how I'm going to do this ponytail at the end I figure out to do it this way. This is how I like it. And the first thing of the ponytail was pretty easy. Step number 15. As you can see, just with the light color pencil, the light gray color pencil, just shading the hair, and then move on with the blue color pencil. As you can see, her right ponytail, it's blue, so we have to really blend in that blue in there. Now, I really didn't have trouble with this, and well, step number 16 would be finishing up painting her color. Her color, I just did it with some yellow color pencil and some brown color pencil, and of course the light gray, just to adding some shading in. But yeah, it wasn't that hard. You can even skip this part. You don't really have to do this part of the drawing. I just decided to do it for fun. So yeah, there you have it. A little more details with my black, of course my black marker. And here I did her map, her little map we have seen in the trailers. Yeah, it's also a very own decision. You want to do the map, you don't want to do it, it's up to you. You can actually start by shading it in and then use some yellow color pencil, but it's up to you if you want to do it or not. But for step number 17, which would be the last step, will be just to finish coloring up the map. But as I said earlier, it's your decision to do it or not. So let's move on to this step. Alright, here I'm just giving the final touch to the drawing, and of course I'm going to do Suicide Squad all over. Here's the final piece, and I really hope you like it. This was an amazing fun drawing to do. Remember, I also have other great drawings like how to draw the Hulk. My channel is full of great things, and if you want to see this, I'm going to leave a link right up here, and I hope you see me the next time in my next drawing. So see ya. I really hope you like this. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. This was Giovanni. See you next time.